Right. Hey, Peter, I just got your email. I am in the Zoom, if that makes
Go ahead and call this meeting to order at 6:01 for the Planning and Zoning Commission for Monday, November 9th. Invocation will be by Commissioner Irving, Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Sharp. Please stand. Sorry. Amen.
Join me in the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sorry about that, guys. I have muted that. Do apologize. All right, roll call. Peter?
Commissioner Hopkins, Commissioner Yocum,
Here.
Vice Chair Sharp,
Here.
Chair Huggins,
Here.
Commissioner Irving, Commissioner Frank,
Here.
Commissioner Babb.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. All righty. Call to the public. If you wish to speak, complete a speaker card and submit it to the chairman prior to the start of the meeting. The procedures to follow if you address the commission are: commission requests that you express your ideas in 5 minutes or less and refrain from any personal attacks or derogatory statements about any city employee, fellow citizens, or anyone else in the audience or not. Chairman will limit discussion whenever he deems appropriate action in proper conduct of the meeting. Seeing nobody, we will move forward. All right. Approval of the previous minutes?
So moved.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Thank you. All right. Agenda items. This is a public hearing, 5.1 PAD 20-05, a request by Sketch Architect Company on behalf of Maricopa Stonegate LLC to amend the Stonegate Planned Area Development PAD Ordinance 1909, proposed modifications to the development land use plan, permitted uses, and development standards. The property is generally located in the northwest corner of Maricopa Casa Grande Highway and Stonegate. Discussion and action. And let's go ahead and have presentation first.
Madam Chair, Commissioners, as mentioned, this is a request by Sketch Architecture Company on behalf of Maricopa Stonegate LLC, amending the Stonegate Planning Development previously approved in 2008 and also approved in 2019 for proposed modifications to the development land use plan, permitted uses, and development standards. To provide a better understanding of the commercial entitlement process, there are 4 steps for this project, starting off with the general plan land use conformance, which this commission saw the general plan amendment process a couple months ago, and zoning conformance, which is at this point, this is the PAD zoning, where they're modifying the PAD itself. followed by step 3 and 4, where it'll come back later for proper platting or pre-platting of the residential portion or platting of the commercial portion in the future. Here are the general facts about the project, which is also within your staff report. Again, it's 46.30 acres. It includes currently 4 separate properties with the existing zoning of PAD zoning with an underlying zoning of CI1 light industrial, and that's being revised to simply just a PAD zoning district itself. The general plan, which was also modified again a couple months ago from employment land use designation to now a mixed use land use designation. The subject site shown in yellow star borders Maricopa Cascaran Highway to the south, Stonegate Road to the east, Allen Stevens Parkway to the north, and the Ceniza subdivision to the west. Here's the existing general plan that was recently approved by the city at this and the commission for the change in land use from previously designated employment to mixed use designation, shown in the teal blue area. The existing Stonegate Plan Development was approved by the city in 2008 and then recently amended in 2019 for a proposed self-storage facility on the corner of Allen Stevens Parkway and Stonegate Road late last year. During that time, you guys did catch an early glimpse of what the full intentions of the Stonegate development was to be somewhat reimagined to what it previously was back in 2008 as a big box retail center with large sea of asphalt parking. What's coming to you today is a revision of what that vision is going to be for the entire site. At this time, Commission got early, as a general reminder, the PAD that currently exists as a zoning established deviated development standards of setbacks, permitted uses, parking ratio standards, and that was what was done in 2008. This request is to modify a couple things and also update a couple items such as the Development Master Land Use Plan, a modified permitted use table, a modified development standards for parking standards, updated conceptual landscaping, street design, and phasing plan. And lastly, incorporating architectural design standards that we haven't seen in previous PADs. We do commend the applicant for developing a PAD framework tailored towards walkability, connectivity, and mixed-use type developments, and creating a sense of place for the community that also goes around the general plan's concept of a village concept core. Here's a conceptual land use plan that again is built around the notion of a village type concept by developing a main street corridor along the east-west connection between north-south road on the west side and Stonegate Road on the right. Here's the bike and pedestrian plan that we also commend the applicant for developing a plan that provides enhanced connectivity from the development and the city's planned urban trail system along Maricopa Cascaran Highway, which is that green dashed area on the southern and western portion. Here's the street plan network that also achieves a level design that not only for transportation access and movement, but also is complementary to land use development pattern that further achieves where the street's not just a street, but street is also a public space as well. So it integrates the land use and the street where it creates that type of sense of place and Main Street type of feel. Here's the preliminary conceptual phasing plan. Keep in mind, these are very fluid in nature, but the intent here as part of this PAD, and what we've done in most recent developments, is to provide an illustrative nexus between developing the site and to require improvements for each potential phases. All which can change, and we've seen this with this type of market that we've been, is that it can change on a dime. As the site develops, the approval of the zoning administrator and city engineer will have to be heavily involved for any type of modifications to a phasing plan. But you see a rational nexus where necessary improvements have to be done when it's immediately fronting or as actual required improvements. But as this will be developed further down the road, these things can be modified with the approval of the city engineer and the zoning administrator. Design guidelines, again, are also being incorporated into this PAD, something that is not typical in most recent PADs. So we do commend the applicant for developing a theme, architectural, and standards that's definitely going to continue to make this development somewhat unique, different, and above the bar against other developments in the city. The applicant followed requirements set forth in the city's zoning code for public hearing. Advertisement of the public hearing meeting was published in the Maricopa Monitor Cascaran Dispatch. Notification letters were sent out to all property owners within 600 feet, which is not the minimum, but they went ahead and increased that requirement at the request of the commission at previous meetings. Subject property and the meeting sign advertising the public hearing was posted on the property. At the time the report was written, staff has not received any formal comments regarding the request. However, in the meeting summary of Exhibit C on page 28, you'll see a summary of the general concerns or general questions and clarifications that were posed during the neighborhood meeting that was held earlier this month. As required by Section 18.180.040 of the City Zoning Code, the Planning and Zoning Commission shall make the following findings in the recommendation to the City Council. One, that the amendment is consistent with the general plan, subdivision ordinance, and all applicable master plans of the city. Two, the site is physically suitable for the type and intensity of the land use being proposed. Three, adequate transportation facilities. And four, development carries out more efficient use of the land and the excellence of architecture and site design, which we feel that the staff has met and the applicant has met all requirements of the city's requirements for a PAD amendment and required findings. Madam Chair, Commissioner, staff does recommend approval of PAD case number PAD 20-15, subject to conditions of approval stated in the staff report, as amended by the Planning and Zoning Commission. At this time, I do ask that the public hearing is open for any public comments and then closed afterwards.
Thank you. We will go ahead and open up the public hearing at 6:10. Anybody willing to speak, please come forward. Six 11, we will go ahead and close the public hearing, seeing nobody coming forward. Thank you.
I think the architect, Randy, just want to make a couple just comments on it real quick before we go into actual discussion.
Okay, no problem. Thank you. And please state your name and address for the...
My name is Randy Carter. I'm with Sketch Architecture Company, 2454 East Southern, Suite 110 in Mesa 5204. And I really don't have much to add to Rudy's comments. He did an excellent job. My PowerPoint has exactly the same illustrations that he had on his, and I don't think we need to go through it unless you have any particular questions that I can answer.
All right, thank you. Let's go ahead and start at one side and work our way around to see if there's any questions for anybody. We will start, as we do normally, with our Zoom member. Commissioner Babb, do you have any questions?
I do not have any questions at this time.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Frank?
No questions at this time. It all looks good.
Thank you. Commissioner Irving? Awesome. Vice Chair Sharp?
I actually have a couple of questions. On the presentation, there's a depiction of hardscape for pedestrian and bike trail. Is that kind of compacted gravel? What kind of hardscape is that in that in that
In the
illustration?
trail system, it will be a compacted granite,
Okay.
not a hardscape. In the other trails we've done around the country, it works out so much better for permeation of water and being able to maintain it for a longer time than with a hardscape concrete pavers or anything like that. Plus, it's a lot less expensive, but it's easier on the feet of the animals and people that run it.
Okay. And then the second question I had to do with the phasing plan for the base infrastructure. It looks like on the phasing plan, some of the street infrastructure is a part of various phases. So it's not just going to be all the infrastructure for the entire site. It's going to be a part of the various phases.
That is correct.
Okay.
So our residential portion, which would be the first to go, has a small portion of I believe it's the east-west street that connects up with the Maricopa Casa Grande Highway. Only the first part of it, as you can see in the illustration, will be done with the residential. When the next phase 2 goes, and we are not sure it's going to be apartments, it could be offices, it could be other things, but then it will complete the roundabout and connect over to the Maricopa Casa Grande Highway. And then the other two will be filling in 3 and 4, all the improvements along the highway, the drainage, complete the trails, all of those.
Okay.
We get that map put back on, Rudy? Make it a little easier for everybody to see that.
Let's see.
That was a great question. Sorry.
So it's this. So as I recalled seeing this, it looks like in phase 2, you've got the main north-south street, including the roundabout. It's just not going to include the portion from the roundabout to Stonegate, which
That
would
is
be
correct.
in phase 4.
That is correct.
Okay.
Now, these are theoretical phases.
Okay.
It is conceivable that in a great market, they sell all the pieces off and it gets built at one time. But as we've seen in the past, it's kind of cyclical.
Yeah.
And we don't, phase 4 may go first in the end. We just don't know. But this is what the owners feel comfortable in selling and producing, being able to financially support through the system of this particular phasing plan.
Well,
Okay.
Did
if I
that
can
answer your
take-
question? Sometimes I talk and I.
No, that answered my question kind of spot on. I just wanted to make sure that we don't run into a situation where we have incomplete roads, which has been something that has happened during various downturns in the city of Maricopa. And so I just want to make sure that we are all mindful that, maybe infrastructure should be laid first and then you kind of fill in from there. But I'm not a developer and that's not my call. Just a suggestion.
Well, that kind of does beg another question. If you do phase 1 first, how does the traffic get to phase 1 when that area is not going to be built till phase 2? Do they have to go all the way up and around and not be able to access through Casa Grande Highway?
They will have to go up to Allen Stevens Parkway and come down Stonegate to access the highway.
Okay.
Stonegate is a
That-
The
small
owners,
arterial.
Yeah, but that worries me in the sense, but this is just the PAD. We don't have to worry about this right now.
it is very conceivable. I don't want to promise it,
I understand.
but
I
it's
was just concerned.
conceivable that road may be built all at one time.
Yeah.
This is just the PAD. So
Exactly.
We're not there today, so we don't need to worry about that. Are you done, Mike?
I'm finished.
Okay. Commissioner Yocum?
Just a question on what do we mean by subsurface reservoir system? Is that dry wells? Is that what we're referring?
No, it's what a lot of developments are doing now, because the cost of land is so expensive, is to put all the required stormwater retention underground. It is attached to dry wells, but generally you won't find the basins that we've had in the past on a lot of the newer projects. They have a big 10-foot corrugated pipe or a stormwater system of some kind that will take the water and then it'll seep into the ground through dry wells or other means.
Okay, thank you. Just a few comments. I noticed that the village concept is heavily adhered to in your plan, which I'd like to see. Also, your mentioning of the retail leakage, paying attention to retail leakage with the addition of retail, theater, hotel, and so forth, which we desperately need here in Maricopa. You also mentioned professional offices, and I realize that we have a lot of moving targets, but I'm glad to see that you did mention them. So thank you for a very nicely presented product.
Thank you.
Commissioner Commissioner Hopkins.
No questions.
All right, thanks. All right, with that being said, this is for action as well. Do I hear a motion?
So moved?
Seconded?
There is a motion and a second. Any additional comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, so moved. Appreciate that, sir.
Thank you, Chair,
Look forward
Commissioners.
to it.
Look forward to visiting with City Council here shortly. And then hopefully we can move this thing along and get a nice development in your city. Thank you.
I think the only thing you're going to hear is it done yet?
Well, I think the owners are feeling that way too. They've had this for a very long time and they are ready to move on it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We got 5.2, Development Review Permit, DRP 20-11, a request by Heights Property LLP requesting review and approval of site plan, landscape, photometric, and elevation plans for a proposed 5,400 square foot automotive service facility generally located west of southwest corner of Edison Road and John Wayne Parkway. Discussion and action.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Commissioners. I'd like to go to the next slide. Is the click, sorry. Do I click? This guy or is this guy?
First time here, so.
Oh, is it this guy? I was using the mouse. Oh, there we go. Oh, perfect, thank you. Before you, we have Development Review Permit 20-11, and we're requesting review and approval for the site plan, the landscape plan, photometric plan, and the elevations. As you stated previously, this is for a 5,400 square foot auto service facility. Brake Master specializes in auto repair, brakes, and oil changes and things of that nature. This is located, generally located west of the southwest corner of Edison Road and John Wayne Parkway, directly adjacent to the Culver's restaurant. It's about a 6.6 acre pad within the previously approved Sonoran Creek Center. This would be the first pad that is being developed within that center. Its existing site use is now vacant. It is a commercial building. It's going to be a proposed commercial building. It is designated commercial already with the general plan, land use, future land use. And the existing zoning is general business, which does allow for the automotive repair center. In addition, we have an overlay zoning of mixed-use heritage, and this site does fall within the transportation corridor. The yellow star shows where the site is located, west of the southwest corner of Edison and 347, or John Wayne. And as you can see, the surrounding area is vacant, except for the Culver's directly adjacent to the east. Looking at the site plan, you can see the Culver's, you can see the proposed site. Just some things to point out. The circulation would be coming off of Edison Road. And then as the site develops, and it would have another access point off of John Wayne Parkway to the east. Vehicles will have several points of access to the brake masters from the Culver's side itself, from Culver's. If they wish to get their brakes done after eating at Culver's, they could do so. And then also from the north, Edison Road. As you can see, a couple things on the site plan that stick out. The alternative material for the crossings, you can see clearly. So pedestrian crossing and access has been addressed by the applicant. As we do foresee people parking their cars or getting their cars worked on and being able to walk to the sprouts, the planned sprouts that's going to be in this, and then also Culver's, obviously, and whatever future end users will be to the south. Another thing to point out is, do I have use of a pointer? Rudy, can you help me? Since we only have one thing here. No pointer. Okay. So if you look at trying to explain how, if you look at the existing median right to the south of the Culver's, the far south, you'll see how that, you look at the existing one is labeled 2, and then the second part of the median is labeled 8. So that was agreed upon with the applicant to extend that median to create a more calming traffic situation. because currently the number 2 is how the median is currently constructed, which would, we believe, not create a safe turning area right there. So we had them extend that so that that would slow down any cross traffic or any traffic coming from either direction, turning into either the Breakmasters or leaving the Culver's drive-through lane. So the applicant, we commend the applicant for working with us on that and making that change to the site plan. As you can see through the landscape plan, the applicant has met our landscape standards and exceeded them. I believe the minimum is 10%, and they came in at about 24% of the site will be landscaped with trees and shrubs to our specifications and requirements. The elevations, I'd like to commend the applicant as well. Jim Egan is here representing Breakmasters today. Originally, the elevations, we do like the elevations, don't get me wrong, but originally it was a very kind of linear across the top of the roof area, and we worked with them to create more parapets and a little more articulation across the roof. And not only that does that look nicer and it meets the Heritage District standards, but also matches the existing Culver's design a little bit better, kind of blends in with the existing business that's there. But as you can see from the elevations, a lot of different materials are being used here. They have glazed windows, which is nice. The decorative lighting fixtures that were approved for the center that you've also seen with Iconic Tire and some of the other newer development that we've had. So adequate lighting, decorative lighting, really nice architecture in our opinion. All of the equipment, if you look at the north elevation, will be painted to blend in with wall, any sort of exterior equipment. So we're really happy with the way the elevations turned out. Photometric plan meets our requirements as well. So in accordance with zoning code section 18.155.0.070, the decision-making body shall evaluate the proposed development conforms with the following design guidelines criteria: the overall design of the project, suitable environment for occupants, visitors, and the general community, the colors, materials, and landscaping are internally consistent, fully integrated with one another, that this project is compatible with neighboring development, and that this project will be visually interesting, built environment. With that said, as required per zoning code, there was one sign posted to the property by city staff. Notification letters were sent out, certified mail, within 300 feet of the subject site. And at the time of the writing of this report, no comments have been received. So staff finds that the submittal items for DRP 2011 Breakmasters to be substantially compliant with zoning code section 18.155.070 and 18.150.060. Staff recommends approval of DRP 20-11, subject to the conditions stated in the staff report. Does Madam Chair or Commissioners have any questions at this time for staff or of the applicant?
All right, thank you very much. We'll go the same method. Commissioner Bebb.
I don't have any questions or comments.
Commissioner Frank.
Nope, no questions.
Commissioner Irving.
I guess it's a question and a comment. One of the conditions was compatible with the neighborhood. I guess I'm just really curious because that would be 5 auto shop repair shops within a quarter of a mile. Our job is not to, I was just curious why that spot with so many already there.
Why was it? Sorry if you could repeat the last part of that question.
I guess I was just wondering, with 4 already there, I I guess I was just interested because we want it to be a success, obviously, is your thought about putting another shop in an area in a community about 60,000, why we would have 5 within a quarter of a mile. Just your
So this
your
is maybe,
management thoughts with that.
thank you, Commissioner Irving, for the question. I'd maybe like to defer to the applicant to talk maybe about the market demand studies that were done on the property.
And again, I'm not
why-
against the design, it's great. I guess
Right.
I was just
No, good
curious
question.
thinking about the compatibility with the neighborhood. That's all that neighborhood is. No, I'm just joking.
Seems very compatible.
Mr. Egan?
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Jim Egan. I'm with Heights Properties, and it's a sister company for Break Masters. To answer your question, Commissioner, the demographics for new store construction is about 100,000 people. So when you chop it up, we think we'll get a better share of the customer base. The economics are very strong for Break Masters. We have a great relationship with Discount Tire, one of the principals going into this project, and most of our customers are women, and that's why we waited. We've been looking at this market for 5 years, but when Sprouts announced, we decided we had to be here. So we waited. We could have gone where Icon went a year and a half ago. But with the combination of Sprouts and the soft goods retailer going in, and our relationship strong with Discount Tire, we do the alignments and we fix their studs when they break. So we don't have any direct competition with them, and we support their efforts. So that's our decision to locate in Sonoran Creek
I
Marketplace.
Appreciate it. I was just curious, and you gave me a great explanation. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Vice Chair.
You know, Jim, you bring up a very good point. I think that happens pretty often. In my time as a mini developer, you see the same clusters of businesses look at the same demographics, and magically, once one jumps in the pool, everyone jumps in the pool. So you end up with these clusters in a very small spot. It happens a lot in retail. And I often ask the same question. Well, now that there's 4, do we really need a 5th?
Kind of like the storage units?
Yeah, kind of like the storage units, right? We had this conversation with self-storage, right? Where is there really that much of a need for self-storage in a town less than 100,000? Probably not, but not our call to make, right?
It's their dime, not ours.
The question that I have is your current neighbor, which would be the Culvers. There's a right-hand turn. There's access to Culvers on Edison. Is that going away? Based upon the site plan, it looks like that is in fact going to go away. Is my understanding of the site plan correct on that?
Go ahead, sir.
So,
Could you go back one more?
photometric plan.
Right there. So do you see when you're in the drive-through lane of the Culvers, there's a right turn that you can make coming off of Edison, but now it's filled with the building and landscaping. So again,
correct.
their right turn and their Edison access is going away.
That's correct. That will be realigned to the west of the Break Masters. So traffic,
I mean, maybe it's not their land, but how do they feel about that as a neighbor, about losing their Edison Road access?
I'm not sure. Maybe I'm going to defer to Rudy on this one.
That's just basically taking the traffic through the rest of the commercial area before they can get out, is basically what it boils down to.
Yeah, but then you got traffic congestion.
Kind of like the McDonald's.
Yeah,
So let me just speak on that, Madam Chair. Commissioners, it's always been the plan, the current location of Culvers has always been somewhat of a temporary interim solution, while the permanent solution is to align the access with this access way on the west side actually lines up with Ancon Avenue of the Acacia Crossings development, so this will line up properly with the access point there. So as part of the improvements for the entire Sonoran Creek development, as part of the improvements of Edison Road improvements as well, They will be doing some interim access while they shut down the Culver side. They'll have a temporary access for Culvers while this primary access is being built and coordinated properly. So the proper parties have been involved to coordinate this type of construction improvement. But in reality, it is going to enhance the access that's currently out there right now.
Okay, so I just wanted to make sure that the Culvers, that was already understood on their either landscape plan or their site plan, that particular access is not a part of their development. It just happened to be there, and it's just kind of been there for the number of years that Culvers has been there.
And it's always been designed as an interim solution because that Culvers was already developed without the notion of the master developer coming into play. Now that the master developer of Sonora Creek is coming into play, that's all going to be reorganized properly, and it will be coordinated during construction.
It basically kept everybody out of the dirt.
Okay.
Yeah. And the biggest thing was just aligning it with Ancon Avenue, as it was misaligned and really kind of, if you've been out there, really awkward movement turning out there. So this should improve.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Mr. Yocum.
On the saturation of auto repair shops, that's an interesting discussion. I've been a patron of Discount Tire ever since I lived here in 2004. And I have had the occasion for front end alignments and for broken stems and whatever they call them, to go over to Brakes Plus. And it seems that there's a synergy there between these two companies, and I wish you well with that. I think what we look at is, and what you're looking at is, can you do it better? Are your costs going to be competitive or lower? Are you going to offer better customer service? And I think they're important issues to look at. And the combination I'm talking about, there's one up in Chandler Boulevard, and I guess that's Ahwatukee or Chandler, and there's also one in Casa Grande, which I guess proves the point that I think you fellows are going to do okay.
Thank you, Commissioner.
I don't have any questions, but I think this is a great project because we have a lot of cars in Maricopa. And I recently needed to get my brakes done, and I went in and I had to go to several different shops until I found one that could get me in a timely manner, because I don't like to wait. You know, I don't want to come back in 5 days. I want my brakes done now because they're squeaking. So I think there's 8 nail salons. I think we can handle a few more.
And as you're going through the drive-throughs, you need to have a vehicle to drive through.
I can do my nails on my toes.
All right. Thank you guys very much for your presentations. Appreciate that. This is a discussion and action, and as such, I will be open to discussion.
So moved.
All right. There is a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All those opposed? So moved. Thank you. Is it here yet? Are you done yet?
Thank you, Madam Chair, Commissioners.
Thank you. All right, 6.0, report from commission and/or staff. The thing is we want all this stuff now. We don't want to wait. We want to get our breaks done now.
Madam Chair, Commissioners, the only thing I need to report today is hopefully able to attend the mayor's State of the City. I heard it was a good event if you didn't get a chance to go. It is on YouTube if you want to check it out. But if anything, those are good praises in terms of what's been happening over the past couple of years in Maricopa, in terms of the department having a subtype of mindset of just working with developers, getting things done. A lot of excitement's been coming about. So hopefully you'll be able to chance to attend or check it out, the YouTube video. Our next commission meeting, December 14th, that is the next scheduled one. Obviously after this one, we want you to enjoy the Thanksgiving, so we're not gonna have another meeting for the rest of November, so please enjoy time with your family. I do want to make it known that I did send an email out regarding the P&Z bylaws. If you guys had a chance to check those out for any potential changes to it, I do have printed copies here at the table if you wanted to take a copy before you leave. Commissioner Bapp, I'll go ahead and send another email out so you can check out the bylaws. But I will be presenting some modification changes at the next commission meeting on December 14th, and then I'll also send that out with the proposed changes. But in the meantime, please, if there's any proposed changes to the bylaws, now's the time to make those changes as we start drafting modifications to those bylaws. Lastly, Byron just stepped out, but Byron will also be presenting a quick glimpse of the single-family residential design guidelines. These are for production housing guidelines that we established about 5 years ago. As part of the zoning code update, it's that time to kind of refreshen it and see what else can be done to maybe move the bar just a little bit higher when it comes to production housing in Maricopa. So we'll be giving an early glimpse of what that design guideline looks like. We want to come back to the commission back in January for action and approval. And then lastly, we'll also give a heads up on the minor code update to the zoning code. There's been, over the past year, there's been some requests on modifications to the zoning code, such as public notice requirements and other things to look into. So earlier this year, I kind of gave a glimpse of what the changes will look like, but I'll go follow up with an actual formal presentation of what those changes will look like. We also will be coming back to the commission back in January of next year, early February, for potential action and approval for that as well. Madam Chair, Commissioners, that is all I have for tonight.
That includes a 600 from 3 to 6?
Yes.
Good job. Good job. All right, guys, anything else? Commissioner Babb, anything?
No, I'm good. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. With that being said, I would like to entertain a motion to adjourn at 6:41.
I motion.
All right, there is a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Bye.